The hinges screamed when the door to the sky cell swung open. Maud came lumbering in, a slab of a man, with a face like weathered leather and eyes too small for his skull. In his hands, a chipped plate of beans. Pale, wrinkled, unappetizing, but to Tyrion's hunger, almost a feast. He reached for them, and, as ever, Maud yanked the plate away. A slow, ugly smile spread across the jailer's lips as he stepped to the lip of the cell and held the plate out over the endless drop. The wind rose from the mountains below, cold as a corpse's breath. "Come and take it," Maud growled. Tyrion stayed where he was. A few feet more, and there was only sky and the long fall to jagged stone. He would not give Maud the pleasure. The plate tumbled from the man's hand, beans scattering into the void. "You oaf," Tyrion spat. The boot to his ribs came hard enough to drive the breath from him. Maud left. Tyrion crawled to the far corner, clutching the threadbare blanket that had replaced his stolen shadowskin cloak. The stone was ice beneath him, the wind sharper still. He would have traded this airy hell for the foulest pit in Casterly Rock. At least pits had walls. Maud had told him when they first shoved him inside that sooner or later he would fly. The floor sloped just enough toward the opening to make him wonder if, in his sleep, he might roll over, and keep rolling, until the sky took him. His mind drifted back to the High Hall, Lysa Arryn standing before her court, naming him as Jon Arryn's killer. He'd been in no mood to play meek prisoner that day, feigning surprise. "Oh, did I kill him too?" he had asked. He'd spoken when he should have bitten his tongue, musing aloud about when he'd have found the time for all this killing. The memory was still sour, being hauled like a sack up the final stretch to the Eyrie by Bronn. He had threatened them with Jaime's wrath, declared it a promise, driven little Lord Robert into a frenzy of shrieks for him to fly. Only Catelyn Stark's reminder that Tyrion was her prisoner had spared him from the moon door. At first, he told himself they would not dare kill him outright, but he was growing weaker, and Maud's boots could do him real harm soon enough. Surely by now his father had sent riders. Perhaps Jaime was already on the road with an army. Cersei might sway Robert into judging the matter himself, and the Starks had no proof. He could win a trial. Still, the questions gnawed. Which of his siblings had sent the cutthroat after Bran Stark? Had they conspired in Jon Arryn's death? If Arryn was murdered, it had been done with subtlety, unlike the clumsy attempt on the boy. Perhaps another hand was moving the pieces. Tyrion despised being anyone's pawn. If he was to be free, it would not be through strength. That left words, his one true weapon. He pounded on the door until Maud returned, scowling. "Want to be rich?" Tyrion asked. The leather strap cracked across his cheek. He kept talking through the blows, Lannister gold, more than the man could spend in 10 lifetimes. Catelyn might have taken his purse, but she was no thief. The gold was still his. He painted visions of Jaime in solid gold armor, chests heavy with coin. When suspicion narrowed Maud's eyes, Tyrion offered to write it down. The jailer returned with parchment and pen, and Tyrion scrawled the bargain. Tell Lysa Arryn that Tyrion wished to confess his crimes, and the gold would be his. At dawn, Ser Vardis Egan came. Tyrion asked Maud for his stolen cloak, and at Ser Vardis's command, the jailer handed it back. The High Hall was crowded, knights and retainers lining the walls. Lord Robert was absent from the high seat, a small mercy. Bronn lounged at the back. Marillion stood with his harp. Witnesses with long memories. Lysa told her sister the sky cells broke the proudest men. Catelyn replied that Tyrion did not look broken. Tyrion decided it was time to roll the dice. He began boldly, calling himself a vile little man, guilty of whoring, gambling, wishing his kin dead, mocking the royal court. Lysa's patience cracked. Catelyn reminded him he was here to confess to the attempt on Bran and the murder of Jon Arryn. He smiled thinly, solemnly. He could not confess to crimes he had not committed. Lysa ordered him back to a steeper cell, but Tyrion's voice carried over the hall. Was this justice in the Vale? Accuse a man, hear his denial, then toss him to the wind. He turned his bruised face to the crowd. He demanded a trial, judged by gods and men. Lysa promised, if found guilty, he would fly through the moon door. Catelyn warned her it was unwise. Lysa ignored her and declared her son would judge. Tyrion remembered the boy's glee at the thought of seeing him fall, so he called for trial by combat. The hall rang with laughter. Dozens clamoured for the honour of facing him. Lysa named Ser Vardis. The knight declined, saying it would be shameful to butcher a defenceless man. Tyrion agreed. If Lysa had a champion, so must he. He named Jaime Lannister. Lysa refused. Jaime was far away, and the trial would be now. Tyrion turned to Marillion, told him to remember in his song how he had been denied a champion and sent hobbling against the Vale's finest. Name another, Lysa said. The silence stretched. Tyrion wondered if his gamble had failed. Then, from the back, a voice drawled, I'll stand for the little man. Bronn stepped forward, smiling like a man who had just found easy gold.